Chapter 12. The Truth. After driving for a few more minutes on the deserted roads and passing by dark streets, Dam finally parks his car near a convenience store. Dam turns around within his seat and looks at everyone. He looks at Anne and Noah as he says, "Okay, me and Airdrie are going to the store. What do you want, Anne?" "My treat." Anne looks up towards Dam as he says, "May I have some of those store-brand chicken legs, please?" Dam turns his head towards Noah as he asks, "And for you, Noah, what do you want?" Dam smiles at her, and she smiles back before responding, "Skittle, a little bag of candy, and kisses." Dam giggles at her request and says, "Okay, we'll be back in a minute. Bye." Dam gets out of the car, closely followed by Airdrie. They make their way towards the convenience store in front of them, while leaving Anne and Noah alone inside the vehicle. The silence inside is clearly not a comfortable one, and the tension seems to be thick enough that one can cut it with a knife. Anne shifts towards his left, coming right behind Noah's seat, and sits straight. He takes off his hat as he is feeling hot suddenly. He puts the hat beside him, on the seat, and looks left, then right. He looks up, and then stares down at the carpeted floor of the car again, before gazing at the bottom right side. Suddenly, Anne begins coughing. Once done, he scratches his chin, looks left, then shifts in his seat a bit, and looks ahead of him again, before a yawn erupts past his mouth. He continues looking here and there, before he sneezes loudly, and a snot shoots past his nostrils. He quickly wipes the snot away from his face with his left index finger, and looks at his left, before gazing forward once again. Anne gets tired of gazing around him, and finally decides to sit back and close his eyes so he can relax for a while. The silence was broken by Noah as she says, "How come you were like that earlier?" Anne opens his eyes and sits straight again. He immediately says, "I'm sorry, I was in a bad mood today. I didn't mean it, to take it all out on you." Noah shrugs and says, "Whatever." Anne tries once again. "Sorry." Anne retreats back and sits comfortably on his seat while looking down once again. Dam and Airdrie are now going inside the store as they both open the door together. Dam calls out to Airdrie, "Pick whatever you like. I'll meet you at the counters." Soon, Dam is out of Airdrie's sight as he goes to get whatever Anne and Noah had asked for, along with something for himself. Airdrie looks around the store and spots the fountain drinks. He makes his way towards the aisle, accommodating those, and grabs a medium cup placed near the left side of the fountain drink. He carefully poured some blue slush inside the cup. Dam goes straight to one of the aisles in search of something. He spots the aisle he's been looking for and bends a little to grab a pack of condoms. Back inside Dam's car, Anne and Noah have yet again succumbed to silence. Noah is just about to turn on the radio to make the environment a little less uncomfortable when she catches Anne's sight through the rearview mirror. She notices blood trickling down Anne's forehead. "You're bleeding!" Noah exclaims suddenly, without giving it a second thought. "Huh?" Anne is pulled out of his reverie by Noah's shocked voice. Anne tries to look at his forehead, but in the darkness he can't see anything clearly. So, he touches his forehead with his right index finger and feels some liquid running down. He brings his hand in front of his eyes and notices that it is indeed the blood gushing out of his split stitches. Anne looks at Noah and asks, "Oh, can you please help me?" Noah looks at him through the rearview mirror, with a frown settled on her forehead. After a moment of staring at him, she looks around the car. Anne calls out, "Try the glove compartment." Noah opens the glove compartment and sees first aid kit along with a bottle of whiskey. Anne chuckles as he says, "Yeah, my dad only comes prepared for anything. But I think there's only cotton pads and bandages left." Noah grabs the first aid kit from her right hand while holds the whiskey bottle on her left hand. She starts crawling over to the back seat as Anne moves a bit to make room for her to settle down comfortably. She finally perches on the back seat and opens the first aid kit. Anne smiles subtly and says, "Thank you." Noah takes a quick look at Anne, but decides not to respond to his comment. Noah gently rips Anne's bandages off his forehead, which are now soaked in blood. She looks at the split on his forehead carefully and says, "Looks like whoever stitched you up did a terrible job at it." Anne asks, looking amused. "Really? I did not know that." Noah shakes her head lightly and says, "You should have taken my advice earlier." Anne says remorsefully, "Sorry." Again. Noah grabs some cotton pads in the first aid kit and puts some whiskey on it before saying, "Okay, this is going to sting. A lot." Anne starts saying, "Okay, I'm really—" Anne stops midway as Noah puts the cotton pads on Anne's forehead, and he could barely contain his scream. Inside the convenience store, Dam goes up to Airdrie and says, "Hey, Airdrie. I have a question." Airdrie looks up at him and asks, "What is it?" Dam asks, "What are kisses?" Airdrie looks at Dam for a while, with narrowed eyes and a confused expression on his. He takes a sip of his slush, stops, and looks at Dam for a while longer, before taking a second sip. Dam watches him impatiently. After a while, Airdrie finally says, "They're little distinctive-shaped chocolates." Airdrie moves his left index finger around in the air to make a small distinctive shape, similar to the chocolate. He then says, "Wrapped in aluminum foil with a narrow strip of paper protruding from the top." Dam smiles and says, "Okay, thanks." Dam starts walking away from him as Airdrie calls out, "You're welcome." Airdrie takes another sip of his drink as he shakes his head. Inside Dam's vehicle, Noah put new bandages on Anne's forehead and says, "Here you go." "You're welcome." Anne smiles at her gratefully as he says, "Thank you. I feel much better now, and I'm really sorry for what I said to you earlier." Noah simply rolls her eyes. "Go to hell." Anne shakes his head as he says, "I will." "Good," Noah says, cutting the conversation short. Noah bends a little to put the first aid kit on the passenger seat and turns around as Anne calls out, "I have a question." Noah looks at Anne while she is busy placing the first aid kit on the passenger seat. Anne asks, "Why are you with my father? He seems a bit older than you." Noah shrugs and says, "Age has nothing to do with him." She settles herself peacefully in the back seat behind the passenger side and looks towards Anne. She continues with her earlier comment, "He's a good person and a gentleman. It's a shame it doesn't run in the family." Anne looks at her incredulously as he says, "Really? Okay." Anne nods his head a little before he says again, "You want me to tell you the truth about my father?" This question piques Noah's interest as she sits up straight to listen to Anne. Dam and Airdrie are waiting at the end of the line in front of the cash counter. Dam asks, "Okay, do you have your snacks?" Airdrie looks up at him and says, "Yeah, just need a hot dog." Airdrie looks at the stuff Dam is holding curiously and asks, "Are those condoms?" Dam is looking at the long line in front of him, while Airdrie's gaze is fixated at the pack of condoms. Dam responds unbothered, "Yes." "But those are flavored condoms," Airdrie says. Dam shrugs. "So?" Airdrie asks, "So you don't know what they're for?" Dam looks at Airdrie before looking forward again and says, "All I know is it is used to stop you from reproducing." Airdrie looks up at Dam again and shakes his head. "It looks like he's some teaching to do." Noah looks at Anne in shock. They are sitting beside each other in the back seat of Dam's car. Noah exclaims, "Oh my God, that's horrible." Anne shakes his head and says, "I know, he's a really sick man." Noah's eyes are still big from the shock inflicted on her by Anne's revelation about Dam. "I can't believe it." Anne says, "You should leave him tonight." Noah nods. "I will." Anne looks at her with concern flashing at his face. "Good for you. I don't want him to ruin your life like he ruined mine. You know, you are a strong, smart, and beautiful person. You don't need a man like my father." Noah gives a half smile to Anne and says, "Thanks. Oh, and I accept your apology." Anne smiles back at her. "Thanks." Noah turns around and looks outside the car through the back window. She wonders, "What's taking them so long?" Anne shrugs. "They're probably getting drunk or getting high in the bathroom." Noah gets another wave of shock as she asks, Do you really think they'll do that? Anne looks back at Noah and stares at her pretty eyes before responding, Trust me. They are. There at the convenience, Dam and Airdrie are still waiting for their turn as they wait in the line. Both of them have blank faces as they stare at the slow worker on the other side of the cash counter. Airdrie takes another sip of his slush and exhales rather audibly. Anne and Noah keeps wondering how much longer they'll take before they finally come back. Inside Dam's vehicle, Anne is taping at the bottom right window with his right index finger when Noah calls him out, Anne? Anne doesn't move from his position, nor looks up at Noah, but responds, Yeah? Noah smiles at him subtly as she says, Thanks for telling me the truth about your father. I thought you were a bad person when I first met you at the walk-in, but now that I know you more, I think that you're just a good guy with a hard life. Anne looks up at her. You're welcome. You know what? You're a very good person too. You need a person like you, Noah asks with a teasing smile on her face. Anne chuckles. Oh, I'm flattered, but I need a girl like me? Noah doesn't let him complete his sentence. They both laugh lightly. I hope you're still leaving my dad tonight? Anne asks seriously. Noah's smile has also left her face as she responds with all seriousness. I promise I will. Anne looks at the back of the vehicle window before he turned it again to his front and looks at Noah. Anne sighs. I hope they get back soon. Noah says quietly, I hope they stay there for the whole night. Noah slowly leans towards Anne, getting closer to his face. Anne looks back at her and smiles as her lips are just a feather's touch away from his. Anne and Noah both look at each other and smile before closing their eyes and giving in. Their lips finally touch, and soon they are kissing, in each other's embrace. Dam and Airdrie are still waiting in the line when Dam turns around and asks, So, what do you think of Noah? Airdrie looks deeply at Dam as he says, She seems really suspicious about your son. Dam looks shocked. What? Why? Airdrie shrugs and informs him about what he had noticed earlier inside the car. Well, when she was talking about the rude mister she saw earlier today, you, son, looked a bit sheepish. Dam shakes his head. My son is an asshole, a liar, a thief, and a manipulator. But I know for a fact that he will never disrespect a woman. He loves women. He won't ever do something like that. Airdrie arcs an eyebrow as he asks, So, you think that he'll fall in love with Noah? Dam snorts, Oh, come on. It's not as if they're fucking inside the car right now. Both the men are busy talking to each other in front of the cash counter. Meanwhile, inside Dam's car, Anne is kissing on Noah's neck while she is grinding back and forth on his body. Dam and Airdrie finally makes it to the cash counter as it's their turn now. The slow clerk at the other end of the counter seems very busy. The store clerk looks up at them and says, Hello, you better not steal anything, you too, because I was watching you guys when you both got into the store. Dam and Airdrie put their stuff on the counter. The store clerk is typing on his cash register. Okay, that will be... Dam stops him by suddenly saying, Oh, a hot dog. The store clerk looks slightly annoyed as he makes his way towards the left side of the counter, inside the convenience store's cooker, to grab a hot dog. He comes back holding it and places it along with other stuff and says, Okay, that will be... Dam exclaims again, looking at the store clerk sheepishly. Oh, and some red white maple cigarettes, please. The store clerk rolls his eyes at Dam and goes to get the cigarettes behind a cover display cabinet. The store clerk comes back again and begins typing on his cash register. He hands over the cigarettes to Dam before saying, Okay, that will be $48.95. Dam gives him a $50 bill, and the clerk accepts it. Suddenly, as if remembering something else, Dam stops the store clerk in his tracks and says again, Oh, and also a larger chicken leg too. The store clerk huffs and goes back inside the convenience store's cooker to grab the chicken leg. He gives Dam the large chicken leg along with his $50 bill back while saying, Okay, here you go and bye. Dam and Airdrie look up at the money in Dam's hand in confusion. They both look up at the store clerk on the other side of the cash counter. The store clerk looks up at them again, now clearly frustrated. Dam starts saying, Sir? The store clerk says harshly, I said bye. Dam and Airdrie are still standing there, looking confused. Dam nods at him and tries to say again, Yeah, but sir, your bill. The store clerk's eyes are blazing with rage as he snarls, Go! Before I call the police on you, you guys. Standing around, looking like idiots. Go home, idiots. You look like fools standing around. Go get laid or something. Pathetic losers. Dam and Airdrie look at each other. Then they walk out of the store as they hear the store clerk shouts from behind, Have a great night, morons! Outside the convenience store, Dam suddenly laughs as he waves the bill at Airdrie's face, who's walking on his left beside him. They're walking on the sidewalk towards Dam's car, and Dam says, Free money! Dam smiles at Airdrie. Inside the vehicle, Noah is still grinding back and forth on Anne's body. She looks up from the back vehicle window to see Dam and Airdrie coming towards the car. Noah whispers in panic, Shit! It's Dam! Noah stops grinding on Anne's body and quickly crawls back to the passenger seat. She is back at her previous place, sitting in the passenger seat as she quickly puts the first aid kit back inside the gloves compartment. She looks at herself in the mirror and tries to fix her hair as much as she can in this limited amount of time, along with wiping off the sweat from her face and neck. She looks at Anne through the rearview mirror and notices that he is lying there looking relaxed. Wow, that was great! Anne exclaims just above a whisper, still trying to stop panting. Anne has a big smile on his face as Noah asks, Can you pass me my underwear? Anne grabs her underwear on the back seat and gives it back to Noah before he quickly asks, You got my number? Noah shakes her head and quickly responds, No. She puts on her underwear as fast as she can and says, We just met. What is it? Anne looks at the driver's side door before saying, My number is 402-434-6547. By the time Anne finishes saying his number, the driver's side of the door opens up as Dam makes his way inside the car and greets them. He. Zrania, sorry it took so long. Anne puts his top hat right away as Dam and Airdrie get inside the car. Dam goes on about the long line in front of the cash counter. Both the doors of the vehicle close, and Noah responds, That's okay. Noah smiles back at Dam, while he gives Noah the treats she had asked for. Here you go, Dam says. Noah gives Dam a forced smile. Thank you. Dam is about to kiss Noah on the lips, but Noah pulled her chin up and kisses Dam on the forehead instead. When Airdrie is sitting in the vehicle, he notices something about Anne. Sensing someone's gaze upon himself, Anne looks up at Airdrie and asks, What? Airdrie continues staring at Anne's face. Anne follows his gaze and looks at his body. As his gaze lowers, he notices that his penis is exposed. Anne looks at it and gasps. He quickly puts his penis sideways inside his pants and zips up his flyer. He gives Airdrie a sheepish smile, while Airdrie just looks at him with a blank face. Dam looks at Noah and asks, So, were you two getting along? Noah shrugs. Oh, we were just on our phones. We didn't talk the entire time. It was just so... Noah looks up at Dam before saying, Boring. Dam smiles at Noah, while at the back seat, Airdrie sniffs and asks, What's the smell? Dam starts the engine before responding. Oh, sorry, that must be that dead bird who flew in here weeks ago. Don't worry, I'll spray it later. Airdrie looks at Dam's back of the head as he pulls the car outside the parking lot and starts driving away on the road. At the same time, the store clerk comes running out of the store and looks around as he shouts, God damn it! The store clerk goes on knees on the ground and whimpers, God, I'm stupid! Inside the vehicle, Dam looks at Noah as she is busy eating her bag of candy. Dam drawls, So, Noah? Noah looks up and asks, Yes? Do you wanna... Before Dam could finish his question, Noah exclaims, "Oh, shoot!" Dam looks at her with concern and asks, "What's wrong?" Noah looks up at Dam and says, "I forgot to ask you to buy me a drink." Dam chuckles. "Don't worry, Airdrie." Airdrie hums while taking a sip of his slush. "Give Noah you slush, please?" Dam asks Airdrie nicely. Noah shakes her head and says, "No, that's all right." Airdrie looks at his slush, then back at the left side of Noah's head. Finally, he extends his hand, holding the slush towards the passenger seat, and offers Noah his drink. "Hope you like blue sarsaparilla." "Oh, you don't have to do that, but thanks." Noah smiles up at Airdrie as she accepts his slush and takes a sip. Dam looks up at Noah again and asks, "So do you want to spend the night at my place?" "Stay at your place tonight?" Noah cuts him off. Dam hold his breath. Yeah. Noah exclaims, "Oh, geez, but I can't tonight. Maybe some other time. But I really got something to say to you. It's very important." Noah looks and smiles at Anne's reflection in the rearview mirror. Anne smiles at her while eating his chicken leg. Airdrie is looking at Anne while he's smiling at Noah through the rearview mirror. Dam looks a little hurt. Nonetheless, he says, "Oh, okay then." Dam is watching the road, and his right hand pulls out something as he extends it towards Anne. "Oh, Anne, here." Dam gives Anne an envelope as he says, "I took some money out for you." Anne holds the envelope and looks at the money in his right hand as he takes it out. Dam's voice catches his attention once again. "Yeah, sorry you can't stay at my place tonight, but there's this nice motel I know that can let you stay for at least 2 weeks." Anne looks at Dam's head from behind and smiles at him slightly. "I'll drop you off there first." Dam turns towards Noah and smiles at her. "And then I'll take you where you want to go, Noah." Dam gives Noah a half smile. Noah looks at Anne's reflection in the rearview mirror again. Her gaze seems suspicious, but Anne ignores that and gives Noah a big smile. Dam gives Noah a half smile. Noah looks at Anne's reflection in the rearview mirror again. Her gaze seems suspicious, but Anne ignores that and gives Noah a big smile.